Morning. You guys could get out your warm-up page and get ready for that. That's what I'll start with here. If you're new, what you want to do is open a Google Doc and title it warm-ups. And then I'm going to ask a question here in a minute, and you're going to write the answer in complete sentences with caps and ends. Okay, so we're going to start with that. So open your document, and we're going to start with the warm-up today. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, start. Two minutes. Make sure you got caps and ends there. I will be collecting these on Thursday, so just keep that in mind. Got about 1 minute left. Forty seconds. Ten seconds. let's get a temperature here. Put in the chat where you are as far as your number. Give you about a minute to do that. Where is your temperature today? You guys are so mellow in the morning. You're all so calm. That's good though. Awesome. Okay. I'm gonna stop presenting for a minute. So I wanted to talk about what's up and coming and a little bit about grading and things like that. So today we're gonna work on a slideshow that is on safety. And then at the end, I'm just gonna give a small little assignment about writing some test questions. And then when we meet on Thursday, I'll do, depending on if we get through the safety PowerPoint or Google Slides, we'll either continue with that Thursday, or I have a little section that I still need to get through on foodborne illnesses. And then the other half of the hour will be dedicated to watching the video. And this week I'm making granola bars, chocolate granola bars. And so you'll watch that and then do your lab or demo page and then turn it in. Okay. The last set of demo pages, remember you need to do your own work. So I've had some copy paste jobs going on and searching on the internet and then copying and pasting a recipe in. It's got to be my recipe. It's got to be the things that I did. And when you copy and paste something and it's identical, I'm not stupid. I do look at your work and I do grade it accordingly. So, just do your own work. It's not that difficult to watch a video and fill it out, So, just do what you're supposed to do. And then I did also want to go over the things that I've scored so far. So let me go and show you the PowerSchool so that you can see the things that I've done. So in PowerSchool, we have done the apple dip demonstration, and that was due on the 21st. So that was yesterday at 11:59 at night, and nobody turned it in because I've looked at my emails already this morning. The kitchen videos that we watched together and did the work in class. Hand washing note slides, we also did that together in class. Apply what you learned, that was out of class, and it was a project, and it was 30 points, basically just picking one of the options and following through. Warm-ups. Kitchen math was the quarts, pints, cups, tablespoons, teaspoons. My job and selfie intro, those are kind of like our maintenance of the class, kind of get us going. So that's kind of what I've scored so far. So just kind of keep that in mind of, do I have all this in? Things like that, okay? So we also have another project coming up on foodborne illnesses where you're going to do a PowerPoint, or I always say PowerPoint because I'm old, Google Slides, where you're going to be researching a foodborne illness and then documenting specific things on a slideshow. So that's what's up and coming. That's about the grades. Do I have any questions? Anything? Look at there. I'm trying to read my chats here. Okay, good job. Okay. Oh, good. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I scored those, but I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway, so okay, so I think it's Natalie. Don't I know that you're a work in progress. So, you know, I am well aware of it. No worries. So anyway, just try to get your work into me. You know, like I said, in my opinion, and you can unmic and tell me differently if you so choose, but I don't really think that what I've done so far has been very difficult. Most of it's in class, and if I had to do something out of class, it wasn't like earth shaking, long hours and hours of work that needed to get done. So, you know, let me know if you're struggling with something. I'm very empathetic to, you know, your feelings and your frustrations, and I'm here to support you. So you just have to reach out and let me know what's going on so that I'm aware, because if you don't talk to me or communicate, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know, you know, that you're having difficulty or something, or you're, you know, maybe you have a really hard class load this semester and it's kind of bogging you down, and, you know, you just want me to know that information, and that, you know, that's a good thing to know. So yeah, feel free to reach out, because that's, you know, that's my job, is to be here for you. So with that being said, I guess, since you're all so quiet this morning, you're probably all in dreamland. I'm going to go ahead with my PowerPoint. These next two Google Slides presentations that I'm going to give are noteworthy, which means that you're going to find answers from these on the test, and it's important for you to write them down with assignments coming up and things like that. So if I was you, I'd either have my notebook ready to jot information down, or I would have a document open that say notes for nutrition, and I would use that page to be writing some things down. Okay. Now, when I give notes, it's not crucial that you write word for word. I'm not scoring these notes, but I'm telling you that they will come in handy for the test. And you know, you can use your notes on the test. I don't have any problems with that. Like, I have any control over that anyway. But you know, when I give the test, I'm going to give it in a period of time that you will have to take it, and that will be it. So make sure that if you want to use notes, that you're writing some things down as we go. Okay. If you have a question, I'm going to see if, let's see. Let's go with Logan Kramer. Have you been an MC before? Logan?
No, I have not.
I need to turn down my volume because you about blew me away. Okay. I'm gonna, oh. My lights just went off. Hopefully I can get them back on. Turn on, here we go. Okay. So I'm just asking that, you know, as I need you, if you could just let me know if I'm not presenting, or you can't hear me, or there's something in the chat I need to know about, please, and thank you. Okay, here we go. All right, so we're going to go into kitchen safety. Kind of taking a little bit to load this morning. My computer's sleepy too. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about kitchen safety, because being in the kitchen can be hazardous if you aren't careful, and we don't want anyone to get hurt or have an injury of any kind. Just a little story about myself is one summer I was making corn on the cob, and I was in a location that I'm unfamiliar with, like all the cooking, different pots and pans and things. And so the only pot that I could find was not a real big one. It wasn't small, but it was one that you probably would use more for like pasta or things like that. And I couldn't find the correct lid for it. And so I want my corn to be covered while cooking, so it kind of steams and gets it done, or, you know, softens up the corn. And so I was using that, and I couldn't get the corn in whole. So what I did is I broke up the corn and put it in the pot, and you know, cooked it, and then I put the lid on. But the lid, it wasn't one that fit it. per se. It went over the top, but what had happened was during the cooking process, it created a seal. So it almost like put the corn under pressure. And so when I went over to check it out, I opened the lid and it was like a bomb that went off. And all that boiling water flew out of the pot and landed on me. And so I was rushed to the emergency room with a 2nd-degree burn on my arm mainly. It did hit my chest and face, but my face was almost like if you've ever singed like eyebrows or ever heard of that, it was almost like the little hairs on my face got singed. And so it was a little discolored. But then my chest and my arm were full on blisters and some were broken open. And this probably isn't what you want to hear this early in the morning, but you know, that was something that happened to me that was an injury. And had I been in my own kitchen using my own utensils, it wouldn't have happened just because, you know, I know what matches up, what fits and whatnot. So that's one injury that I sustained in the kitchen, maybe, I don't know, 3 to 4 summers ago. If you were here at school, I would show you some pictures of it for those of you that would want to see it. But things happen, you know, and you just have to be as prepared as you can be and be as safe as you can. So with that, I'm going to continue on into our kitchen safety. Okay, so just some safety terms. Safety is a behavior that prevents harm, okay? Accidents are events that happen when unsafe behaviors occur near a hazard. Okay, some people say that you can't prevent an accident, but really if you take the time to think it through and you know, have that moment of clarity, you can prevent accidents. Inspection, checking to be sure hazards don't cause accidents. So kind of knowing your environment, looking around and making sure that, you know, anything that might hurt you is contained or well cared for. And then, Logan, if you could, as you take notes, if I go too fast, will you just keep an eye on the chat and just make sure, you know, if somebody needs that slide again, that I'm aware of it, or I went too fast and I need to go back? Yeah. Okay, thank you. And again, remember, word for word is not required here. That's totally up to you. So I'm going to go ahead to the next slide unless you put a 1 in the chat because you're not ready for me to do so. And then Logan will let me know. Okay, moving on. Okay, so kitchen hazards. So if you look at this kitchen, you can kind of see there's lots of things going on that could be hazardous. We'll talk about that in a minute. But a hazard is a situation that could be dangerous, like slipping and falling. Every kitchen has many safety hazards. So if you look at this kitchen right now, we see a rug in the kitchen, which you could slip on. We see something on the floor there with a cord that crosses between the table and the counter, which you could trip on. We have a knife at the table that's just kind of haphazardly sitting there. We got boiling pots on the stove. I mean, there's just lots of hazards that are around. Animals, sometimes invariably my dogs like to sit in the kitchen while I'm cooking. And if I move too quickly, sometimes I almost trip over them. And so it's probably a better idea I wish I had a gate so I could keep them out of the kitchen while I'm cooking. But anyway, so just some things, you know, falls, burns, cuts, strains, shocks, poisonings, chokings, all of that can happen within a kitchen. If you're not ready for me to move on, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. All right, so falls, by definition, are losing your balance and hitting the ground. Prevention of falls Keep floors clean and dry. So here at the kitchens, you know, sometimes we have kids that will turn the water on and then they'll go do something and forget about it, and then it overflows. It's happened once or twice. And then the floor becomes really wet and slippery, and so we really need to make sure we get it cleaned up quickly with a towel or something that's going to soak it up, because if somebody is unaware that there's a slippery spot, then they're just going to walk without taking any precautions and slip and fall. And that could be, you know, pretty serious if they hit their head. Okay. If you drop a food product, make sure you pick it up quickly. Like if you're, you know, walking across and your egg dropped, the egg yolk is very, very slippery. So that would have to be a quick cleanup. And I would prefer you stay with the spill and then have somebody else grab something for you, so you don't leave like the scene, let's say, and then have somebody not see it and then we have an injury. We don't run around the room just for safety reasons. Wear low-heeled shoes and look where you're going, okay? So always be aware of your surroundings to keep from an injury that could possibly occur. And then give me a 1 in the chat if you need me to wait for you to write the notes. Okay. Okay, so burns, injury caused by heat or fire. So I'm going to go through some tips. I'm going to use the screen, but I also have notes in front of me that I'm going to read too. So use oven mitts when you handle hot pans. Sometimes those oven mitts, for whatever reason, drop in the wet sink or they get liquid on them, and that's going to saturate them. So basically what protects your hands from the hot pan is now saturated with water, and it's not going to protect you. Okay, so if an oven mitt or a hot pad has, if it's wet, then just put it in the bin to be washed and grab a new one. If you do grab an oven mitt, whether it's here or at your home, and you can feel the heat coming through, it's probably better to pitch them and get a new pair, okay? I do discourage you from using towels just because they're pretty thin, and when you go to grab something out, it may not feel hot at first, but then when you're trying to pull it out and put it up onto something, that's when the heat's going to start coming through, and that can cause an injury. Stay away from hot grease, it burns. So typically if you're cooking something with grease and it starts to spit or sputter, you want to turn it down or move it off the heat. Keep handles on pans turned in, away from the aisles. So I don't know if you have cousins or siblings that are younger than you, but or you babysit maybe, but when you are cooking on the stove and you leave those handles hanging over, what happens is little kids are very curious and they think that that's a handle that they can lift themselves up to look into the pan or look on the stove. And then if, like, you know, my kids like ramen noodles and things like that. So if you're cooking something like that, you're bringing that water to a boil, and that could be at that point where that little person dumps the hot water onto them, and then that could be a severe burn. So it's always a good idea to take those pan handles and move them to the side so that does not occur. Don't wear loose fitting sleeves that might catch on a pan handle and spill the pan of hot food. Pay attention to what you're doing. Know fire protection rules in the kitchen. So like here we have a fire blanket and we also have a fire extinguisher. So we do have those things available. You can also use salt or baking soda to put out a grease fire. So if for whatever reason you're cooking something with grease and it starts to catch fire, never douse it with water because that ignites it, okay? That's when it's gonna start to spit and sputter, and that could be a pretty bad or severe burn. Use flammable material away from the top of the range and away from portable appliances that produce heat. Use a dry pot holder, which we talked about. Store flammable substance such as aero sprays away from the heat source. So sometimes what I see is, like let's say we were doing pancakes or something, and we were using the, you know, like a pancake pan. on the stove and you sprayed it, and this happens when you're using gas, so my kids have done it unfortunately, but they'll spray the pan while the heat is on, and then it kind of doesn't start a fire, but it could, where it just kind of ignites a little bit, and then they've already pulled it away because they're freaked out. But you want to be really careful with those kinds of sputter sprays that are under pressure. Use metal trash can when disposing of hot or smoldering items. So basically what that means is if we were in here doing like hamburger or something and we had the grease, we don't want to pour the grease into the plastic liner because it's really hot and it's going to melt it. Or if I have a plastic waste paper basket, it's going to melt that as well. So we don't have any metal, so you would probably just set it aside and let it cool before we go ahead and pitch it. We do have an exhaust fan here at the school, and I'm sure you have one at home above your stove. So just always make sure that's on while you're cooking. It kind of helps keep the air, free of being smoky, and it's a good way to cook that way, I guess you could say. When removing a pan lid, tilt the lid away from you. Do not hold your face directly over the pan. When removing a pan from the oven, always pull out the oven rack. Don't reach into a hot oven. So the reason those racks are there is to be able to be pulled out, so whatever you're cooking, you can get to a little bit easier. And when you reach in for something, invariably people will reach in and then automatically pull up, and there's a coil at the top of the oven that's going to burn them. So you got to be careful. Wear an oven mitt on each hand and use both hands to remove pans from the oven. Check to be sure all appliances are turned off when you are finished with them. Use a spoon or tongs, not your fingers, to remove food from hot liquid. And when lighting gas burners with a match, strike the match first, then turn the burner on. We don't have gas here at the school. I do have it at my house.
Are we still on burners?
Burns? Yeah.
Okay, because it's not what's on there.
Yeah, I'm just reading off my notes right now because there's a lot of things I wanted to say more.
Okay.
So, yeah, but thanks for checking. If you smell gas, turn off all range and oven controls and alert somebody, just because, sometimes the gas gets turned on and that could be, could be deadly depending on how long it's been on. Okay, so that's our prevention of burns and my little ad libs of other things I wanted to mention about that. So I'm going to go ahead and click to the next one. Okay, so cuts. So injury due to a break in the skin caused by a knife or a sharp object, that does happen. Injuries, if you have a really sharp knife, I know it's hard to believe, but it is less of a chance that you're going to be injured unless you're working with a dull knife. Then there's more chance because you're using more pressure to cut with, versus a sharp knife would just cut right through. But if you ever cut yourself during the cooking at home or even here, you want to take care of that immediately, okay? So you would stop what you're doing. You would, whatever it was that you were using needs to be thrown away. Like, for example, I'm talking about the food. So you were cutting lettuce, let's say. That would need to be thrown away. And the knife would then need to be washed separately because we don't know if it has any, of our contaminants on it. And then we'll need to get you a Band-Aid, okay? Hopefully it's not that severe, so a Band-Aid will work. But, if you're paying attention to what you're doing and you're, you have your sharp knife, it's probably less likely that you're going to cut yourself. So that shouldn't be an issue. Okay, so prevention. Use the correct knife for the job. So, if we were cutting lettuce or something like that, we would use a French knife, which is bigger. And if we're doing like the apples I did last week, I used a paring knife, which is much smaller. We always cut on a cutting board, always cut away from your body. Never put the knife under things where the knife can't be seen of where it's cutting. Never put the knife in the dishwater where they cannot be seen. So like if I was going to put a knife, I wanted it clean, I would set it on the side of the sink so whoever's washing the dishes knows where it is and can wash it when they're ready. If you drop a knife, let it fall. Like sometimes when things fall, I put my foot out because I don't want it to break or something. And that's a bad habit because if I dropped a knife, I would be, you know, cutting my foot. So never put anything out to try to stop it from falling. And then don't search in the dishwasher for broken glass. So sometimes it happens where, you know, you threw something in there and forgot that there was something glass in there and you knew it broke. We wouldn't go looking for it. We would just drain the sink and then find it that way. One thing I did want to mention that I didn't in the fires, this isn't anything for notes, but just kind of a little information is, last year we were in here and there was a student that was using parchment paper for cookies. And then when they were taking the cookies out, the parchment paper kind of slipped off the cookie pan, and the cookies fell down onto the coil, and some of the paper did too, and it ignited. And it wasn't anything that was horrible. You know, basically what I did is I just used some tongs and grabbed the parchment paper out that was ignited, and I just put it right in the sink. Okay, so it wasn't like a big deal, but you know, if something like that happens, you need to alert me immediately. And if you are at home, probably, you know, the person that can help you should be notified, just so, you know, if it did get out of hand, there's the fire extinguisher or the fire blanket that's available. So no worries. All right, so we're gonna move on. Oh, I didn't realize I had more to say. Keep sharp knives sharp. So this is my add-ons. This isn't in the notes. They're less likely to cause an accident. We talked about using a cutting board. Cut away from you with the knife blades slanted. For peeling vegetables such as carrots or potatoes, use a peeler instead of a knife. If a knife, kitchen scissors, or ice pack starts to fall, get out of the way. Do not try to catch it in midair. Wash, dry, and store a knife separately from other dishes and utensils. Keep your fingers away from beaters and blades and appliances. Use knives and other sharp tools only for their intended use. Sweep up broken glass immediately. So we've had a couple glass dishes that have crashed to the floor, and that just needs to be cleaned up ASAP. Wrap your hand in a towel to pick up broken glass. When opening cans, cut the lids completely off, and don't leave sharp knives in a sink full of water. Okay. Shocks. So, caused by contact with an electrical current. Pull out a cord by the plug, not the cord, so it doesn't break. So that's usually an issue, is if you pull it from the cord and it comes away from the apparatus at the tip, that is going to expose wires, and that could be an issue. Unplug any appliance before washing. So sometimes we'll use the beaters, hand mixers, and I would always want the beaters to come out. And when you're wiping down that tool, make sure it's unplugged. Never operate an appliance with wet hands or while standing in water. Keep floors dry. Keep appliances turned off when they're not in use, and do not play with any switches when you're cleaning an appliance such as a mixer. I want to get our fingers caught in there. Just some other FYIs. Do I have any more I want to talk about? Oh, yeah. So read appliance booklets before using appliances. Keep electrical cords away from water and hot objects. Do not plug several cords into an electrical outlet at one time. Unplug portable appliances after you have used them. Disconnect appliance before cleaning them. Do not put them in water unless the appliance is labeled immersible. Before using an appliance, make sure your hands are dry and that they are standing and that you're standing on a dry surface. Unplug appliances before bringing metal objects in contact with any working parts. And plug the cord of portable appliances into the appliance first, then into the wall. Okay. Poisonings. Poisoning, which is ingesting hazardous chemicals. So to prevent it, you need to keep them locked up and store chemicals in original containers. Some people do You know, they might want a spray bottle of something, and so they put it in a spray bottle or something like that. And the reason that's not a good idea is because a lot of times they forget to label it, and then people don't know what's in it, and then they end up using it for something, and then it causes a problem. So just be aware. Most things that are hazardous will have that poison face on it or have information that it contains hazardous material. So you need to, if you're going to use it, you should be reading about it and figuring out if it's okay to use. So the things that we have here are okay for you to use as far as cleaning supplies. So it shouldn't be an issue here, but even at home, you should be aware of what you're using on certain things like countertops, sinks, stoves, possibly ovens. So just kind of always be mindful to look at those kinds of things. If you ever have little siblings at home, or someday you have a child, most time they put them under the sink. But again, that's right in contact with the little people. So it may be a good idea to, you know, keep them somewhere else, like in a closet that has some shelving that you can keep them up high. Or if you're going to put them under the sink, then get those locks that you can put on so that little people can't get in there. If they open the cabinet, they wouldn't be able to open it. So just some things to think about as you progress throughout your life. Choking. So this is the universal sign for choking. Most people that have something in their throat will invariably grab their throat. That's just the sign that something's not right and something is lodged and preventing them from breathing. If they can talk, cough, or breathe, that means they're not choking, okay? So if you ask them what's wrong and they say, I'm choking, they're not, okay, because they can talk. If they're coughing, you know, they might have got something down in their throat, but it's, you know, they're clearing their airway. And obviously if they can breathe, they're not choking. Okay, so those are the three universal things. They can't talk, they can't cough, they can't breathe. So preventing is to chew your food thoroughly and also stay seated while eating. Those are two good advice to prevent choking from happening. Most people don't chew their food thoroughly and end up swallowing when it's, you know, not been broken down enough, or they're doing something while they're eating and then that causes an obstruction. So basically what you would do is the Heimlich maneuver, and that basically is to make a fist. Put your other hand around that fist, and it has to be right above the belly button, and you would push in and up 5 times to try to dislodge the object, okay? Do not just run up to somebody and start wrapping your arms around them, because they may have no idea what you're doing or your intention. So it's always a good idea just to give them your name and tell them you're there to help, and you know, if it's okay. I know that sounds crazy, but some people don't like other people touching them, or they're not going to understand, you know, what your intent is. So it's just a good idea to start developing some of those habits, because it's going to come in handy if you ever, you know, had a situation where somebody is choking. Okay. All right, so I'm not going to do that yet. I want to do a couple things. I want to talk about microwave accidents and some sanitary procedures really quick. So to prevent microwave accidents, never use a microwave if the door appears damaged. Never turn on the microwave if there's no food inside. Do not heat sealed jars, cans, or bottles in the microwave, because it puts them under pressure, and then when you open it, it just kind of explodes. Do not heat home canned foods in a microwave. Use a conventional range. Use pot holders to remove food containers from the microwave. The microwave can heat up things rather quickly. For example, at my house, I have clay plates. They're made out of clay. And so when I put them in the microwave, they heat up really, really fast. And so every time I use one of them, I always have to use a pot holder, because if not, my hand would burn. And so just always remember that. If you have some microwave safe dishes, anything glass is okay, like Pyrex, things like that work great in the microwave, but they still can get hot, so make sure that you're using the precautions. Remove lids, plastic wrap carefully to avoid steam burns. So if you ever have done, like, let's say vegetables in the microwave in one of those steam bags, and you go to cut off the top immediately after they cook and steam just kind of, you know, comes right out of there, you have the potential of burning yourself. So it's always a good idea just to let it sit for a minute or two and then go ahead and cut the package apart and get out the food contents. Distribute the heat by stirring microwave foods before serving them. So I always put it in for like 30 seconds to a minute, stir it, put it in for another 30 seconds, and then go from there. Always a good idea to kind of stir things around just because it displaces them, and they may not have gotten all cooked through, or the heat did not reach them, and so you have some that are warm, some that are hot, some that are cold. Okay, so these are just some sanitary procedures. So some of them have to do with you guys coming in here, but I'm going to cover them just because I'm hoping that someday that will happen. So place books, purses, other items in an area of the classroom not used for food preparation. So that would be like leave it at your seat. If you're going to take your phone into the kitchen, then it needs to be in a pocket. If I see you using it, that means that your grade drops half, okay? Because those are gross and we just don't use that kind of stuff, okay? Wear appropriate clean clothes on lab days and avoid long loose sleeves and dangling jewelry, so try to take care of that. Wear a clean apron or a lab coat, so I always have aprons that are clean. If not, there's always paper aprons that you can use, not, you know, flashy and has got the designs on it, but still it fits its purpose. Pull hair back and secure it so that it stays away from your face and shoulders. So I do have hair ties here. And, you know, I would rather your hair be out of the way versus, you know, having it be down. And it's not going to be up for long, you know, maybe like 20 minutes and it should be okay. Avoid working with food if you have an open wound on your hand. So if you do have that, I probably will have you wear a glove or something like that. Wash your hands with soap before beginning a lab. Dry your hands with paper towel or a cloth towel not used for drying the dishes. While working with food, avoid touching your hair, skin, face, or other unclean objects. Repeat hand washing when necessary, especially after coughing, sneezing, or using the restroom. Be sure you have clean dish towels, dishcloths, pot holders, oven mitts before beginning the lab. Obtain additional cleaning items as they are needed, but not in excess. So that just means like, I don't expect there to be like 10 oven mitts in your kitchen and 5 towels and 4 dishcloths. I usually kind of joke and say, if you're going to use that many, you'll be doing my laundry. But let's try to use just what we need. If your towel gets really wet, obviously I want you to get a new one, but it should be rather soiled before that happens so that I'm not constantly having to wash millions and millions of towels. Wipe all countertops and tables at the beginning and end of each lab. So we don't know who's touched those kitchen counters in between classes and different things, so it's always a good idea to wipe them down before and after. You know, you can't be clean enough. Use hot soapy water for washing dishes. Wash and dry dishes, pans, and utensils as you use them. When tasting food, use a spoon other than the one used for stirring. Use a clean spoon for each person tasting and for each time food is tasted. So last year we did Christmas cookies, and I didn't see this, thank goodness, but it could happen where you frost a cookie and then you end up licking your fingers and then you grab another cookie and frost it. So that's unsanitary because you are, you know, touching and licking your fingers. So that would be something that we wouldn't promote, okay? After working with raw animal food, scrub all areas and utensils used with hot soapy water. When possible, use kitchen tools, not your hands, to complete tasks. Thoroughly cook food to be served hot. Keep them hot until they are served. So you could, like, you know, put a lid on them or something like that. Foods to be served cold should be kept cold until serving time, and cover leftover foods and store them in the refrigerator immediately. So let's take a short little quizzy here. Let's see if you can get these right. Okay, so look back in your notes and answer this question. One way to prevent falls is to keep floors clean and blank. What's the answer? Who knows?
Dry.
Dry. Woohoo! Good job. To prevent burns, use oven blank when you handle hot pans.
Oven mitt.
Yes,
Mitts.
good job.
And
You can help prevent
have you call it?
cuts if you always cut things on a cutting what?
Like out. Your sleeve.
No.
It's a cutting board.
Thank you. Keep hazardous chemicals what? What should we?
In their original
Okay, or you
containers.
could say locked up.
Locked up.
Yep. And then to help prevent shocks, do not play with any blank when you're cleaning an appliance. What do you think? Hello? I hear you, but nobody's saying. What is it? To help prevent shocks, do not play with any blank when you're cleaning an appliance. What would the answer be?
Switches.
Yes, good job. Okay, so what I would like you to do right now is to you can't use these quiz questions, but come up with 5 quiz questions that you could ask somebody about these slides. Anything there? Okay, so 5 quiz questions. And I'm going to go into,
Huh?
okay. So you need to, so for example, one of my questions could be, what do you call a behavior that prevents harm? Okay, so that's one of my test questions, let's say. You use the rest of the slides and the notes that you took to come up with 5 test questions off of this slideshow. Okay, so I'm going to go into Google Classroom. I'm going to create this assignment. So 5 quiz questions from the kitchen safety slideshow. Okay, and then you're going to attach it. Okay, so I'm going to watch those come in. Right there it is. Okay, so you're going to attach your document to this page. So I'll give you till 8:30. So that gives you about 8 minutes, give or take. And then I'm going to check back with you. Okay, so stay right here and just do that assignment for me for the for 8 minutes. If you get it done early, go to the bathroom, get a drink, come on back. And if you have any questions for me, let me know. Cameron, yeah, you're going to put it on a separate document and then upload it to that assignment. Natalie, what code do you need? Do you need the code to Google Classroom? Is that what you need? Because I can get that for you. Give me 1 second. I just put it in the bottom there. Hopefully you can see that.
I don't know. I don't even know what to put.
For what?
This.
Did you take notes?
The 5. Yeah.
Okay, so look at your notes and see if you could do like a true and false or a multiple choice. A question about the PowerPoint. So like I was telling you, you could do something like, what do you call a behavior that prevents harm? And that's safety. Or you could say, what do you call an event that happens when unsafe behaviors occur near a hazard? The answer is accidents. Or you could say, what are some accidents that could happen in the kitchen? And that would be a fill in the blank. Or you could say, what are 2 ways to prevent falls in the kitchen? Or true or false?
I just said that.
You what? What was that?
I just. Never mind. Never mind.
Okay.
So, like, you need 5 slides for each question? Like, one question is one slide?
You can do it on slides. You could do it on a doc. You could, if it was me, I would go to Google Docs and I
Okay.
would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I would write my question and then go to the next one. That's me. But if you want to use Google Slides, go crazy. That's A-okay as long as you do the assignment. That's, however you choose to do it is fine. So right now I got 1 turned in. Yeah, it's awesome. So just to piggyback off this student's, because she has some good stuff, she said, what would you do if someone was choking? Oh, jeez. I got 6 in. Keep going, keep working. Anybody else have any questions? I got 9 in. Okay, so if you finish the assignment, I'm going to dismiss you. If not, you're here till you do, unless it hits 8:35. Natalie, I'd like you to hang around for just a minute, if you don't mind. But these are the people that can go. Amelia, we'll see you Thursday. Caroline, Alex, Cameron, Abigail, Logan Kramer, Mackenzie, Nicholas, Kelsey, Landon, Connor. You guys can go a little early since you have completed your assignment. And those that haven't, you need to continually work until it's done. So there's somebody else that just came in. Callie, I don't know if I said you, but you can go. Natalie, are you there? Is she here? I don't see her. Oh, yes, she is. Jones. Nat-
Can I ask?
Yeah, go
wait,
ahead,
I have
Cameron.
a question. Sorry. So actually, I just checked.
Okay.
I checked my grade. It said I had a 0 out of 30 on crap. I forgot what the assignment was called. It was the newest one though. It was the Apple dip
And what does it
assignment
say
or
again?
something like that. It said a 0 out of 30.
Okay. When did you turn that in? Yesterday?
No,
Oh.
days ago.
Oh, you did? Okay. I will just double check that because maybe I ended up skipping over it or something. So
Because if I remember, what was that one? Was I do like Fridays,
no,
Thursday?
yours was due Monday because remember I couldn't get the
Oh,
video to
I don't
work.
know. I don't remember when I turned it in, but I know I turned it on time though.
Okay, you want to just go look? Let's do it together.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
watch.
Okay.
Watch me.
Oh wait.
Okay.
Oh, I have to watch.
Okay. So going into Power School. Thing constantly kicks me out, I swear. Okay, so let's go to you. Cameron, is this okay if I do this?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
I just didn't want to put you on the spot. Oh God, I didn't want that. How do I get out of here?
I don't care.
Jesus. I didn't want to give all that information away. Good Lord. Okay, so yeah, let's go into Google Classroom. Where's that? Oh, here it is. Okay, and let's go see if it's there. Apple, where is that? Right here. Okay. So Cameron, right there you are. Which one is it? This one? Oh, have you probably made a copy?
I made a copy, I think, of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I did make a copy of
so
it.
it
So,
must be
so the questions were saved on the document.
Okay,
So I
here
had
we
to
go.
type in everything.
Okay. I don't remember seeing this one, so maybe I just ended up like kind of breezing over it or something. You didn't answer these questions.
Wait, which one?
You see these?
Additional questions. What do you think?
Did you not see
I
them?
did answer those on the bottom or something.
Did you? I don't see it.
Wait, what? Hold on. Did I
Maybe-
answer any questions?
You answered these additional comments, but you didn't do the questions.
Oh, that's what I answered.
So maybe
Oh,
you should go back real quick, pull it out, answer them, and then it'll probably send me an email that you turned it in, and then I'll go fix that.
All right, I'll go answer those then real
Okay.
quick.
I wrote myself a note, so I'll be doing that today.
Okay.
All
Wait,
right.
what time's the next class start? 40?
Yes, 8:40. So
I'll go.
everyone is dismissed for my class except for Natalie, if she can just hang tight for a second. But everyone else can go. Make sure you get that done Bye,
Okay.
Cameron. I'll try to fix that for you.
Thank you. I'll go fix it real quick.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Miss.
Bye.
Um,
Yeah, who's
so
talking
I-
to me? Alyssa?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I had the same problem as him.
Oh, you do? Okay, I will write that down. I'll add, whoop, holy crow. I'll add you to my list. Okay, and then I will go in and double check those as soon, I mean, I have planned this next hour, so I'll just do it ASAP. And she's gone. Okay. All right, Natalie, can you unmic for a second?
Yeah.
Am I saying your name right?
Natalie or Natalia.
Oh,
Doesn't matter.
well, it matters to me. I don't want to say it wrong. Natalia, I like that better. All right. So, do you understand about the warm-ups? I wasn't sure. Okay. So you just go to a separate document, answer the questions in complete sentences, put the date on it, I would suggest. So like today is the 22nd. And then you will do another one on Thursday. And then when I grade them, I will just not worry about the last week. I'll just worry about this week for you. So your grade, you know, as long as you do the 2 in the right way, you'll be fine. But we do that every week, okay?
Yep.
Or twice a week or whatever. And then you got into Google Classroom, so there you're good there. Anything else I can do for you?
Nope. I don't really have anything else. The office lady's already trying to get my Panther portal set up, so that'll be good.
Okay. And then from this point forward, so like these questions right here today are the ones I'm going to start grading you on, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So other than that, have a good one and we'll see you Thursday.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right.
Isaiah
I found
and
out.
Skylar. Oh,
Sorry.
hi, Cameron.
I joined back because the questions. I put them in the additional comments area.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, so I just read it when I like unsubmitted it, went to type or whatever, and then I see I answered them, but I put them in the comments. So like, what
Okay,
did you like
so the
about this
comment-
recipe? I liked how
Okay.
it doesn't take long to make. Like I put them in the wrong.
Okay, so the comments are basically like I'll talk throughout the demonstration on different things. Like I'll talk, like I said, maybe measure your vanilla in a separate container in case it overspills. That would be an additional comment. I talked about different ways to cut apples, so that would be an additional comment. I talked about, what else did I talk about? The Neufchâtel as being a third less fat. You could add that in as an extra comment. So just anything extra that I say, I would add that.
Okay, I'll try to remember.
Okay, that's fine.
Bye.
Skylar?
Thank you.
I did the apply what you know,
Okay.
and I emailed you like a couple of days ago. and
Okay,
so-
sometimes I get so many emails a day. So apply what you know. You need me to double check that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I grade them a little early too, and I don't go back. And then, you know, you guys have to let me know that you put it in there. So as long as it's all good, I will just double check that and get it in like the next 5 minutes. Was that
Okay,
Skylar?
thank
That
you.
was Skylar, right? I was thinking it was Alyssa, but it's
Yeah.
Skylar. Got it. Okay, got it. All right, Alyssa, are you back? Do you have a question for
Bye.
me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get the thing that I was talking about?
What thing?
The apple
The
dip
apple
thing?
dip?
Yeah.
I am working on it. Yeah, I haven't had a chance because everyone's asking me
Yeah.
questions.
Because I was like, I logged that and I like couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
And I was
So
just
I'm gonna
talking.
do that in the next 5 minutes is get that rectified for you and get it in. So take a look at Power School in the next 5 minutes because it should be fixed.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Bye.
Bye. Isaiah, I gotta go. You should be in your other class. So that tells me that you either went back to sleep or you're not paying attention. What is it? Don't know. So, bye-bye. Actually, cancel. Click on that.